Welcome, YouTubers and vinyl community everywhere. Here, a couple weeks ago, I started doing a little cleaning out of the garage, and I opened a box that I packed up 35 years ago and partially forgot what was in it, even though it had something written on it. It also, besides LPs, had a bunch of 78s. Probably one reason all these years I hadn't opened it up. Well, about half of the box was the records I'm going to show you today because I thought it was quite interesting, and that's the Warner Reprise Loss Leader series. Now, these records were from 1969 to 1980. There were a total of 35 records issued. They were all gatefold double LP compilations of their top stars, and they were available only by mail order and $2 a piece. Talk about that was a bargain back in the 70s. And I found one of these since then in a a dollar bin kind of thing. So I suspect you can find these, but they're a lot of fun, and I think they're still a bargain. And I know compilations aren't all that popular, but you want to hear the music of the 70s, you can pick it up for cheap here. Now, I've showed this record on another video, James Taylor, Mudslide Slim, 1970, but the inner sleeve of that record had this. I'm going to hold this up here, it'll focus in, you can see it. This was the advertisement for the Warner Reprise Loss Leaders, and this particular one advertised 5 of them. You would get these coupons in records when you bought one of their records, and had 5 choices here. You send it in with your money plus shipping and handling, and I've got 15 of those records that I bought probably in the early to mid 70s. The first one I got was issued in 69, and then my last one goes up until 78, and they went on through 1980. So I've got 15 of the 35, and I'm going to show them quickly and just talk about them a little bit and mention some of the artists. Discogs had a nice section on this and a little discussion about it, and I had forgotten all about them, and this refreshed my memory. And you just never know what's going to happen if you start digging in your garage. Okay, let's take a look at the records. I'm going to show these fairly quickly and just talk about a couple of them. The first one, I'm going to show these in the order they were issued. The first one, 1969, Warner Reprise Songbook, gatefold, but these are not just a gatefold. If I can turn the pages. These have pictures of the album covers of the artists. They describe the albums. Very neat to have these. The early ones all had these. A little later, they stopped putting the little booklet glued in the middle. But these were quite nice. The inner sleeve had advertisement for more of the records. So on this one, you got 10 records listed where you can order, and just one of their standards on the other side. Here's what the record labels look like. Standard palm tree Warner Reprise Songbook, it says there. These ones I have are mint to near mint. They weren't in outer slip covers. Some of them I maybe played them once, some of them I never played them at all. So that's the first one. Oh, I wanted to read off only on two of the albums. I'm going to read off the names of everybody on the album, and practically everybody that was anybody during a 11-year period recorded for Warner Reprise. So we got on the first one Van Dyke Parks, Randy Newman, Joni Mitchell, Arlo Guthrie, the Everly Brothers, Sweetwater, Eric Anderson, Miriam Makeba, Family, Van Morrison, The Kinks, The Electric Prunes, The Fugs, Tiny Tim, The Mothers of Invention, Wildman Fisher, The Pentangle, Neil Young, Sal Valentino, The Beau Brummels, Jethro Tull, Tom Northcott, and Jimi Hendrix. Now, I think you get those two records, you got pretty much a capsule history of 1969 in the music business. The next one to come out, 1969, Record Show. A lot of them had nice artwork on the cover. Again, we still got the nice book on the inside. A lot of the covers had to do with things that were going on in movies or books or TV or whatever. So, the next one, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Glenn Yarborough, the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band, the Vogues, Frank Sinatra, to name a few. The next one, the Big Red Ball, plain on the back, still has the nice book inside. Middle of the Road, plain on the back, Middle of the Road, Burbank. I don't know that you'd say this was all middle of the road. Here's Seals and Crofts, Todd Rundgren, the Beach Boys, America, Mary Travers, Pentangle, Diane Warwick, just to name a few. Had the Whole Earth catalog back then, which was a real popular book. Well, this is a takeoff of it, the whole Burbank catalog. See in big print here, $2. That was a bargain back then. Still has the nice booklet inside. Burbank, both sides. A couple of these, I love the covers on them. Appetizers. Nice artwork on that. See quickly who's in the advertisers. My pages has gotten loose there. Bert Janisch, Linda Lewis, Paul Butterfield, Little Feat. All singing, all talking, all rocking. Hard Goods. Love the cover of this one. Little booklets is gone in the middle by this time. They just have a print here, but we got Graham Central Station, Van Morrison, Kiss, Steel Eye Dan, Frank Zappa, Todd Rundgren, Bob Seger, on and on and on. I think you're getting the idea. The music that took place in the 70s is on these records. Here's one. You have to see it to believe it. And a little more discussion here. This one is called Deep Ear. This record is 1974. Again, the booklet's gone on the inside, but in 1972, the first big hit famous pornographic movie, Deep Throat, come out. Well, this is Deep Ear. She's got a deep ear in her mouth. I think this album cover is as suggestive as you can get, and it's amazing it was on it. Here's the back side. We got a little boob showing there, and the spindle coming up out of that record looks a little pornographic. And here is the album cover whole, and I think that's kind of amazing for 1974. Actually, it would be a little amazing today. I was going to read who was in this one. We got Good Rats, James Taylor, Jimmy Cliff, Richard Betts, Jesse Winchester, Elvin Bishop, Doug Sham, Tex-Mex Trip, Little Feat, Maria Muldaur, Adam Faith, Ry Cooder, Lorraine Ellison, Wendy Waldman, Frankie Miller, America, Arlo Guthrie, Randy Newman, Van Dyke Parks, Jesse Colin Young, Browning Bryant, Ashton and Lord, Bonnie Raitt, the Peter Ivers Band, John Hartford, the Meters, and Wet Willie. Fourths, with a reference to a popular TV show. Another one here with some food references. Burbank's Finest 100% all meat. Like this cover. The ingredients on the back, they tell you who's in it on this one. Got a picture of all the artists. Doobie Brothers, John Hammond, Emmylou Harris, Nilsson and Cher, Curtis Mayfield, Rod Stewart, Beau Brummels, Commander Cody, Martin Mull, Earth, Wind and Fire, LaBelle, some more Jimi Hendrix, and more. Now here is one that I actually picked up, not realizing what it was, out of the dollar bin here a couple years ago. Limo. We're up to about 1977 or 78 here. Leo Sayer, Al Jarreau, Kate and Anna McGarrigle, Danny O'Keefe, Eddie Hazel, Fleetwood Mac, Chunky Novi and Ernie, Attitudes, more Rod Stewart, the Doobie Brothers, Ted Nugent. Just practically nobody missing from that time period. And in 1978, the last one I have, and another one here with a little sexual reference maybe, Interruptus Collectus. She's in there with a gun. I've cleaned this record up and played it. So, what's he doing? She thinks he's in this motel room with a girl. Interruptus Collectus. No, he's got his turntable on the floor. He's got his headphones on, and he's listening to some music. So, ladies, make sure you let that man listen to music in his own home so he don't have to go to a motel. I thought this was a lot of fun. Yeah, these records don't go for much. I suppose they put out millions of them. But from 1969 to 1980, about half of everybody that had a hit record is on these Warner Reprise Lost Leader series. And there's a lot of hits on here. Now, if a person just had a hit, they didn't put it on one of these records. But 2 or 3 years after the hit, when that hit wasn't selling anymore, they would put it on one of these records. So these aren't all just the filler. There's tons of good music, and there's tons of hits in these. So I think, if you're digging in the dollar bin and you see one of these Warner Reprise Lost Leaders for a couple bucks, give it a try. Yeah, I listened to a few of them. Sound quality is so-so. the ones I listened to. You know, they probably pressed a lot of them. They didn't put a big effort into remastering these compilations, but they all sound fine. They're fun to listen to, and if nothing else, they give you a little taste of some of these artists. And that's good salesmanship, because you listen to somebody on one of these records and you say, man, I like that. Then you'll go out and hunt for the actual record it was off of. So, see ya, lost leaders.